A troubleshooter to Europe looking for support for action against Libya.
NBC Nightly News, reported by Connie Chung.
Good evening. The White House today disclosed that President Reagan has sent a special envoy, United Nations Ambassador Vernon Walters, to Europe to muster support for a U.S. attack on Libya. Walters' mission appears to be one of the last steps before the president decides to order a retaliatory attack against Libya. NBC's Jamie Gangel has more from the White House.
The White House has sent Walters to make one last attempt to win over its European allies. But administration officials say they already have more than enough evidence against Libya to justify a retaliatory strike. Vice President George Bush, in an interview taped for tomorrow's NBC program Meet the Press, underscored the administration's position.
There's proof that the Libyans have their fingerprints all over state-sponsored terrorism.
And Pentagon sources have said the military alternatives have been worked out. 2 U.S. aircraft carriers are in a holding pattern in the Mediterranean waiting for orders. And the president's advisors believe they have American public opinion behind military action. But the one thing the White House doesn't have is the support of its allies. In Bonn, German Chancellor Helmut Kohl has acknowledged there are a lot of indications of Libyan involvement, but cautioned against U.S. military action. In Italy, Prime Minister Bettino Craxi advised against a military blitz. And in France and Britain, there has also been opposition to a military strike. In response, Walters has met with Margaret Thatcher and is in Bonn tonight to meet with Kohl. By Monday, the diplomatic lobbying tour will be complete, and administration sources indicate that means a strike could come as early as Tuesday. Reports from Britain indicate that Prime Minister Thatcher has apparently softened her position and would now allow the U.S. to fly its F-111 bombers out of England and use this British Air Force base on Cyprus. Administration sources say the president is committed to a retaliatory strike, but might be willing to hold off if European allies agree to strong political and economic sanctions. Short of that, said one official, it's just a matter of time until the president picks a plan and gives the go-ahead. Jamie Gangel, NBC News, the White House.
Defense Department correspondent Fred Francis is at the Pentagon tonight. Fred, what is Ambassador Walters taking to the European leaders?
Connie, he is going to present the evidence. And apparently, from sources here at the Pentagon and the administration, they tell us that the evidence is very good indeed, of such a high quality that it's going to be difficult to present. Consider this. The evidence that the United States has was presented in various circles around Europe as human intelligence, a spy. The American government learned through a spy that nightclub somewhere in the West Berlin area was going to be bombed. That kind of evidence is very difficult to present. It is not a deciphered cable. It's not something you can put before Craxi of Italy or Kohl of Germany. So he will present it saying the case is very strong. Then he will tell the European allies that the only way they can stop a retaliatory strike against Libya is if they will go along with President Reagan's call for sanctions, both economic and political. So it's a very strong case, and they're going to present it in the next 2 days.
Aside from linking the evidence of the West Berlin explosion to Libya, is a U.S. strike against Libya imminent?
I do not think it is imminent, although one source told me today that anyone who tells you he knows what the president is going to do and when he's going to do it either had lunch with Ronald Reagan today or is lying, and he said you should believe the latter. The simple fact is, Connie, we don't know. But with the diplomatic process ongoing, it suggests a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. But believe me, Connie, that is only a guess.
All right, thank you. Fred Francis reporting from the Pentagon. The Allied command in West Berlin is ordering the removal of suspected terrorists to try to prevent future attacks. American, British, and French representatives gave the order after a week of meetings following that bombing of a popular discotheque. A U.S. Army sergeant and a Turkish woman were killed in the explosion that also wounded 230 people. The sergeant was Kenneth Ford, and there were funeral services for him in Detroit today. The soldier's flag-draped casket arrived at Forest Hill Cemetery. There was an honor guard and full military honors with a traditional 21-gun salute. Sergeant Ford's brother, Robert, is also a soldier, a private.